Welcome back to another destination deep dive. Today we will be talking about our glacier trip. I am Lily. I am a destination expert here at AdventureWomen, and I am joined today by Mandy, who was the guide on Glacier and is also an ambassador for us. So Mandy, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. I have been guiding for Adventure Women for about 10 years. This is a newer one for me. We've been doing Zion, we've added Moab, and now we have this glacier trip. And uh, Glacier's been somewhere close to my heart and that I love. And so having the opportunity to show people this beautiful part of the country is a true blessing for me. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, so when I set up a trip, there's a few things that are really important to me. One is that I want people to really feel like they got to see the park. They got to see all the sides of it, all the different areas. And so when I was planning this, a lot of other trips will hit some, but not all of the areas. And I wanted to make sure that we got all of the different areas that we could. There's over 700 miles of trails and glaciers, so there's no way we're going to get close to those. But there's a reason that there's certain places to go, and we hit them all with this, which is what I love. Another thing that I really love to do when I plan trips is, even though hiking is for sure my favorite part, I love multi-adventure trips because it pulls people out. It has them try something different and unique they've never done. And it's such a cool way to see and experience a place. So, and then always, I love having that downtime. I like having unique places where it can just be us, where we can hang, chat, laugh, have those funny memories we look back at later. So, yeah.
All right, so this trip is a level 3 trip, and our level 3 trips are our dynamic trips. So the reason, and Mandy, you already kind of mentioned this, but this is a multi-adventure trip. So, there's going to be a little bit of hiking. You get to try whitewater rafting, paddling, you'll go swimming, zip lining, alpine sliding. So there's just so many different activities that you get to try. And I would say, and Mandy, you can talk about this as well, but they're pretty beginner friendly. Obviously you want to have some experience hiking and just, be someone that likes to be outside and is a little bit of a thrill seeker. In terms of where you are, you'll be in Glacier National Park, which is in Montana. And Mandy, maybe you can talk a little bit more about where you go in the park.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we go up, you fly into Glacier International Airport in Montana. That's where you get picked up by me and dropped off. And then as you can see, we kind of hit all of the big places. So West Glacier is where Glacier Guides Lodge is. That's kind of the central hub. I would say most people visit that area. That's where you got Lake McDonald, which is just, I mean, the first time I went to Glacier when I was younger, Lake McDonald just took my breath away. Logan Pass, super famous. That's up on the Continental Divide. We saw animals up there. I mean, that range is just marvelous. And then St. Mary is kind of where we centralize to be able to hit all of the three highlights on the east side of the park. So we get up into Waterton, Canada. So it's an international trip, which is pretty cool. Mini Glacier, knock your socks off, and then Two Medicine area, which is a little more quiet and less people go over there. So it's really special to be able to hit that side as well. And then from there we go back. We stay 2 nights in Whitefish, which is a really cool town outside of the park. That's kind of where we finish off the trip and get to do some other cool activities, and then we take you back to the airport at the end of the trip.
And so just so everyone's aware about the hiking statistics. Obviously, this is not just a hiking trip, it's a multi-adventure, but there are a few days of hiking. So as you can tell, there's some longer hikes on day 3 and day 5, but you have the option day 5 to do the 10-mile hike or this shorter 4.2-mile hike. And Mandy is going to talk a little bit more about her experience on the trip and sort of what the hiking was like.
Yeah. So yeah, that first day 3 hike is up on Logan Pass. It's one of the most famous hikes, and it is absolutely beautiful. You're hiking on the Highline Trail. So you park at Logan Pass and you're hiking along the side of the mountain. You're seeing the views you saw on going to the Sun Road, which is a very famous road in the park. And we saw so many animals up there. We saw a lot of mountain goats. We saw some bighorn sheep, which was really cool to see up close on the trail. And yeah, you're just hiking along the High Line. Has a little bit of climbing and stuff. It is a more popular hike, so that was the one downside that a lot of people felt is this one's really crowded. But there's a reason it's crowded. It's super famous,
Yeah.
super well known. Um, and just the views, I mean, nonstop. The views of the valley below are absolutely incredible. So that was the first hike. The second hike is over by the mini glacier area, and it's Iceberg Lake. It's pictured there on the right, where Laurie's holding up her hiking poles. Look at that water. I mean, it was incredible. And
Yeah.
there's icebergs that are just swimming in that lake. And there may have been a few brave souls who got into that ice cold water and got on an iceberg, which was cool. Like, where do you get to do cool things like that? And then the last day of hiking is over in Two Medicine area, which, like I said, is a little more quiet. And that was really special too because it was a little more quiet. It was a little more um, just peaceful and a kind of a good end to the trip. So those are the three hikes. That middle hike where you get the option, this particular group, everyone did the 10 mile. And I will say that some people who were nervous and weren't planning on it said, I did not know that was 10 miles. It's a very gradual up. It's a pretty easy 10 mile hike, and it was worth it to everyone. So everyone really liked that experience. So yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the scenery because it just looks stunning.
Yeah, I mean it's nonstop. Everywhere we go. Waterton, that middle picture's in Waterton, Canada, which I mean, look at that. Like the views that you get. We already talked about Iceberg Lake, the blue lake that you get to see. Everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, I just think is absolutely stunning. And I think every person on our trip would agree that like it just blew everyone's socks off, which is what I love about doing these trips and showing people these amazing places.
Yeah.
The wildlife was awesome. I told you guys we saw the goats and the bighorn sheep along the Highline Trail. And some of the goats had little babies, which
Um,
everyone gets all excited about, which was cool. We saw some driving too. And then, yes, we did see some bears. One of the vans seemed to be luckier than the other, and I felt like they saw bears almost every day while they were driving. We all saw this mama grizzly bear on the left, and she had two cubs with her from the car, which is a great way to see them. But yeah, there's a lot of wildlife to be seen on this one, which is really cool. A lot of our ladies were pretty nervous about the bears. Um, and we didn't have any scary experiences. Obviously, every group's going to be a little different. But just rest assured that the guides carry bear spray. They've had these experiences before. Um, and they know how to handle that and what to do in those kind of situations. So the bears don't want to be near us, and we don't want to be near them. So I think people who were nervous about that before the trip were like, okay, it wasn't as scary as they were imagining. So the whitewater rafting was really awesome. It's a half day paddle, so it wasn't a full day thing. So we had a lot of people who this was a first time experience for them. They were nervous, they were scared. Um, but I think, once we talked to them and they got to see it was okay. There is a couple of good waves, a good class two, I think, for our trip. Every trip's different, just depends on the season and the amount of rain they got. But I don't think it was overwhelming or crazy hard. No one got flipped out of the raft. People chose to get in of their own accord, as you see in that picture. Um, but it was just a fun beginner rafting trip. So it let people get their feet wet and see what it's all about. And everyone had a really good time with it. Yes, zip lining. So when we go to Whitefish, so after we finish in Glacier and we have 2 nights in Whitefish, one of the days we get to spend up at a ski resort. Obviously, there's no snow right now. And so there's a couple of other options. And one of them is zip lining, which I love a good zip line. I love going somewhere where there is one. And it was super fun. A lot of the ladies commented that they really liked the setup here because you're kind of in It's actually a paragliding harness, so it was a lot more comfortable than like your standard harnesses. And the views, I mean, you can see in those pictures, it was really pretty with the mountains and the trees. And if it's a clear day, you can see into the park, which is gorgeous.
And then I think this is the same day that you also do the alpine sliding.
Yes, yeah. So after we do the zip line, we hang out a little bit for lunch, and then you can take the ski lift up and then do a alpine slide, um, which everyone was really excited about and fun doing too. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the camping is a little bit different experience for people, and I know some are like, nope, not doing camping. Um, this is why I chose to do it this way. A lot of the lodges that you can stay in are very, very expensive and require a 18 to 24 month sign up beforehand, which is really hard to do in a group setting. And they're also tucked in at those places. So you're in at mini Glacier. So the driving time, if you stay in those places, make it really difficult to get around. And so when I was designing this trip, I wanted a central area that would allow us to get to all these without doing hours of driving. So I chose St. Mary, and there was this awesome camp place that we could stay in. It's not glamping. I'm just going to say that outright. You are in just a standard, they're two-person tents, but we made it so everyone gets their own tent. So you're not sharing a tent, so you can spread out a little bit in there. The tents are already set up for you when you get there. You're given a sleeping pad and a sleeping bag, and then you kind of have your own little area. There's flushing toilets and showers nearby. It is shared with the campsite that's there, so it's not just for our use. And then the guides who are running that part of the trip are making all of our food for us. They kind of have everything set up with a kitchen, and the food was really good for that portion. So yeah, I realize that this can be a challenging part for people, but I also think sometimes doing those challenging things are what you remember the most from the trip.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of fun experiences and laughs. And some realized after this, they're like, I don't ever need to camp again. Like I got it out of my, and that's great. But I'd say come try it and see how it goes. And you never know. You might end up really liking that you are literally outside for 3 days straight without ever going inside, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so we start out our trip in West Glacier, like I said. It's this beautiful, it's called the Glacier Guides Lodge. It's right outside of West Glacier or Apgar Village, which is a perfect setup. So when we get there at the beginning, you can walk over and go into West Glacier. And some of our ladies did that. There's yummy breakfast made for us in the morning. It's nice because it's just small and there may be one or two other guests in there, but it's mostly just us in that lodge. And then on the right there, that is our that's in Whitefish. And that place is really nice. It's a huge hotel. They had great breakfast options. We do one of our dinners in there, and it's just really nice. So it's kind of a good start and end, and then the camping in the middle. So,
Amazing.
oh, and that one's called Grouse Mountain Lodge. So,
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our video. So thank you for watching. Mandy, thank you so much. We actually have our next year's departures already sold out, but I'm sure we'll be planning some more for 2028. So stay tuned. But feel free to reach out. We have many other US domestic trips that take us to national parks, or just if you're curious about any of our trips in general, feel free to give us a call, or you can always email us and one of our destination experts will be in touch. So thank you for watching, and thank you again so much, Mandy.
yeah, no problem.